Welcome back. We have Discount Lash alongside ZP and Chris Puckett. We're breaking down all of the gameplay that you have been wanting to see. It is Deadlock featuring new characters with familiar names from North America. Hydra Nation, our returning champion, undefeated on the night shift. Is that true, ZP?
For the night shift, that is absolutely true. Hydra Nation also, in previous NA lore, went on very, very long streaks of being undefeated. But we all know what happens when Hydra Nation gets an L. Half their roster explodes and they reform after taking players from the other team. Look, I love you, Hydra Nation. You've just actually done this like 7 times now. So I would love to be wrong whenever it is next time that you lose.
They're like the Mongol army. They just take the best parts of you and keep growing and move on. We're going to talk about them more in depth, but first we have to hit the fact that we talked with Hydration on this show. One of the best interviews I've ever had with Hydration happened in 2025. And we have more interviews happening at the end of the show. It's called The Graveyard Shift. ZP and Jason are going to be joined by a very special guest. Lord NM will be on the show. And Jason, this is not just for our Patreons. Now that we have the sub button up and running, we got the memberships over on YouTube. Anyone who has given us money basically has access to this thing.
100% happens right after the show over in Discord. You guys can come watch it live being recorded. And obviously at the end, you have a chance to ask some questions as well. We can have a one-on-one conversation with any of us, or maybe you're interested in taking ZP out on a date. We still have that available as maybe a special segment on the Graveyard Shift. You can hit up a Denny's for some late night pancakes and scrambled eggs.
Is there anyone in Minnesota in the chat right now? I know we've got a lot of Europeans, some Russians hanging out here, some folks from Australia. We were here earlier in the day dropping off some subs. No one from Minnesota. Unlucky, ZP. Let's keep it moving as we got to try to take a look here at our squads. Hydra Nation taking on Lil Troops. And Lil Troops just muscled their way here. Now you're going up against the big boss. We talked about him, the old man from the Overwatch League scene. He's still pro game and now in Deadlock. He goes by the name of Hydration. We got Lethal, we got Rokane, AVG, Lomane, and Lord NM, our special guest on the Graveyard Shift tonight. Kaplan, who's scariest on this screen?
Is it just one player, man?
Yep,
like with the way they've been playing, I have to say it's Leffa, right? We talk about who's the most mechanically gifted player in North America in Deadlock, and Leffa would be the name you hear 9 times out of 10, if not 10 out of 10, because that person is probably drunk. I mean, Leffa is just insane. And honestly, I'm kind of curious to see what he potentially could do if he picks up someone like Drifter or picks up Victor. Like, I feel like there's definitely a chance to see Leffa bring out some new heroes today and really kind of stomp some teams potentially.
No one has had success the first week with a new character. We have not seen any Victor dubs. In fact, we've seen 2 Victor L's. Will Hydra Nation be able to flip that storyline? Paige also holding an L tonight. Will she be in the mix on the other side as we take a look at the opposition? It's Lil Troops. Is there anyone that is willing to go against the grain, or are we expecting them to run back the comp that they just won with, CP?
I think if you're Lil Troops, you don't necessarily change a whole lot up. I also think for Hydra Nation, based on how they dropped a map previously, you also don't necessarily go a little bit wild into new heroes. I mean, of course, that was back when Billy came out, where they didn't really know how to play Billy yet. But, maybe this is going to be a series where it'll be relatively by the book. But I did like Jason's shout out around the idea of going, hey, maybe Leffa can play the Drifter, because Drifter is kind of in the weird zone where I got a little bit of time to talk to some of the teams behind the scenes, and teams are really torn where they feel like they see some scenarios where Drifter could be really good, but no one wants to take the chance really during night shift where the pressure is quite a bit higher.
By the way, we had 4 people chime in. Yep. First time chatters also shouting out the fact they're from Minnesota. I see you, Jeannie. I see you. ZP's about to see you. Lyra Hubble over on YouTube. Big shout out to Gian. Not really sure. ZP, if I were you, I would lean towards the YouTube chat because they probably have like a more realistic profile. Twitch ones are pretty easy to make and have multiple of. We're going to keep the conversation back to Deadlock here as the draft is coming up here in just a moment. Jason Kaplan, for anyone who doesn't know the format, this is now a $1,000 battle for North America. How's the format working out?
I think it's pretty sick. I think we set the tone perfectly with our format here in the night shift. I think it's been something that's amazing to see within like these special, only the best teams get to participate. And then even down the line, the fact that we happen on Wednesday means there's no realistic chance we're going to clash with any other events that will be happening. So there'll always be an opportunity to catch some Deadlock with us and join us with a nice stiff drink here on these Wednesday nights. But Hydra Nation, a tough team to beat. To take them into 3 maps, if you have to do so, if you can't beat them 2-0, is even more difficult considering they're a team that has a lot of depth across the pool. They have, I think they're definitely the most focused team in North America by far on what their goals are and how to accomplish those. I mean, that's one of the reasons why AVG ended up leaving Melee Creeps in the past to join Hydra Nation. But Lil Troops, you played them last week. You played them the week before. This is your 3rd time. Could 3rd time be the charm?
Hydra Nation refuses to play if there are less than 400 subs. Right now, we are sitting at 388 after the Prime usage by Drastic Noah. If you have a crown, that means you got a free Prime sub. Go ahead and put it to use here on the night shift. Pay for the observers, the incredible Solomon behind the scenes, and the magical casters, ZP and Jason Kaplan, who have to fill with me while we wait on North American teams to get into lobby. It's nothing new. We do it in Rivals. We do it in Deadlock. I've done it in Halo, Call of Duty. Basically, any title that North American players are participating in, they are slower than Europeans at joining servers. ZP, is this your fault or the player's fault?
I mean, it's the player's fault. Really, it's the fault of biology. I'm not sure what it is about being in North America, but you just go to the bathroom more often. I didn't check in this particular instance, but I just know that history shows that overall, when you go, hey, why aren't the players ready? Well, 2 to 3 players went to the bathroom. We've actually tried a new initiative, just, gently urging the players, you can use the bathroom after draft, and you'll still have time for the game, and it'll delay things a little bit less, but sometimes the call of nature is a little bit too much to ignore.
Yeah, sometimes, those nervous tickles hit you in different places, Kaplan. Some you risk, some you can't. You just got to take care of business. I respect the players taking this serious. There's some real money on the line, and not watching something,
Twitch.
not watching Twitch, just sub. So thank you for being on Twitch and subbing. You are sub number 389. You're helping us fill the time. The players are coming back. We're about to rock out. We've already done the draft. ZP, did you say Hydra Nation is going to win this or 2-0? Are we going to a game 3 for a second time in a final?
I think it depends on how adventurous Hydra Nation gets. I think if they stick to things that have been proven to be pretty good, I still have them with a pretty wide advantage, both in mechanical skill and how they've run the macro game in recent times. But if they get a little bit wild with it, if they're the ones to finally bring out Drifter and maybe it's not actually that good, I could see them dropping a map. But I do think if they drop a map, it's going to be more of a self-inflicted wound, at least from what we've seen recently.
Okay, draft is up and running. We've got the graphics going. I'm excited for this. Kaplan, walk us through predictions here from the Lil Troops.
Well, I just heard from our producer that ZP did confirm he would purr again if we got 5 more subs during this drafting phase. So
if we get to 400, ZP will purr?
Yeah, confirmed. ZP, yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't see a nod. Okay,
No,
yeah,
I thought
absolutely.
he was going-
He wants to do it. Chat, help
I am
him,
locked in.
help you.
Look, I am just a passenger to the madness here. If I get told to purr, I purr. That is, sir, yes, sir. That's where I'm at.
Okay, what character model is that? I can't make
Pocket.
out. Pocket? Okay.
No.
Doesn't really look like the Pocket in game I know, but I'll take it. Vindicta, I know those feet anywhere, ZP. What do we got coming up, though, as the first picks?
A fellow feet connoisseur, I see. A man of culture.
Of course.
First pick coming up for Lil Troops.
Down all game, baby.
Look, given what Hydra Nation was showing that they might like to play, I still think you go for the Billy here if it is possible, or the Holiday. I think either Billy or Holiday are both very respectable here as first pick. And they're going to go 7 for Pashi, which, look, he was really good on before. It has been a priority pick for Hydra Nation, but this could be responded to with Holiday Billy, Holiday Viscous. I think one of those 2 combos is pretty likely.
ZP, we just got a 5er. We are 3 away from 400. Solomon, can you prep the slow zoom to the center of the screen? Yeah, just get it ready. Get it nice and moist and warmed up for us. 3 subs
Why does it
away.
gotta be moist?
If you got Prime, why not? Let's get it sticky in here. Let's get Viscous in the lobby as soon as we can. Drop those subs off, and there we go. 402, thanks to Panorama with a big drop off. Go ahead, ZP. Big deep breath. That's too gentle.
Okay. All right, wait, you got 2 for the price of 1.
I don't think he's gonna let you out of this. I think, we're not gonna watch the draft phase anymore. We're just gonna watch you purr.
It's like you got 2 for the price of 1. I'm still zooming in.
So, ladies, all of you out there in Minnesota, this man can purr. He'll treat you right.
He knows how to roll his R's, I've been told. Go ahead, give us a little sample. He speaks Spanish as well.
No. I think that's what I want to sample right now is that Paradox just got picked by Hydra Nation. They took both playmakers, and we haven't seen a team draft like this in a while.
That's all to hide the draft so he doesn't have something to bounce to get out of talking about this.
Dreamer Slays, I definitely see every message that goes into any of our chats. And don't worry, ZP has not been convicted on any of those allegations.
Bring the draft back.
No,
he's a wonderful human.
This is fine.
You just make him bigger. Just a full screen ZP. This is the night shift. It's getting weird. The real boss is off the clock. We're not really going to clean up. Next morning, it's going to be a mess and it's going to smell weird. Game Guru, thank you for adding to the viscous mess. The subscriptions keep rolling in. We love to see it.
It's sticky and we're not going to clean up. Who's the one that has to clean up? Is that like DDK and Jake tomorrow?
It's
probably.
What do they call the people who are joining a fraternity? Pledges. We're going to have pledges here on night shift.
We got
an American fraternity tactics. Mo and Krill, Viscous, some Billy, any other farm animal, ZP, will we see a Victor, maybe a Drifter, maybe a doorbell user, a doorman?
In terms of bans right now, I'm not sure if either of those are going to get banned. It depends on how much Lil Troops is afraid of Hydra Nation bringing out the Victor. I don't know if you need to be that afraid of it, given the picks that Hydra Nation has gone for. Getting rid of the Warden, though, that makes sense, especially given what Hydration may go for. Even though I do think hero pool-wise, I think Billy may be Hydration may be the designated Billy player for Hydra Nation. So there's a world where maybe they wouldn't have even gone for the Warden.
ZP, you are apparently snugly dateable. That's yeah.
That's a good 3-word description for him.
In the chat right now while we're waiting as slowly as Lil Troops can lock in their character. Mirage
ZP is not my type. Needs to be bluer and with more horns. Don't worry, we can fix that.
Oh boy.
For the small price of $4.99.
ZP 600 subs. We go Abrams.
No, it needs to look. If Jenkins just gets to put on a suit and that works there, I need more to paint my face blue because apparently getting rid of the blue paint is not easy. Like there's an investment there.
We just got 20 subs.
47 just helped invest in this. Okay, let's do 750. ZP goes Abrams. I'll even find a Minnesota local to come to your house and paint your face blue.
All right, if you can arrange the face painting, Puckett, then yes.
Okay. It's a deal. Ladies and gentlemen.
Do you not see what's happening, ZP?
No, I know. I'm existing. I do see what's going on. What can I do? I'm the passenger to the chaos.
Yeah, it's the night shift, and Sullivan and we had to get here way too early. I don't know what's happening, but Abrams is on our screen in so many places. He could be in your basement for just a few extra subs. Once we get to 750, we unlock the Abrams. 1,000, you get Jake in a cat-made costume. What comes after that? Only Jason Kaplan can tell you on next week's show. We have 2 more characters to lock in. Cap, what are we going to see?
Sorry, I'm a little late.
Paige, you're going to see your bae come back into play here. We only saw her once, lost the game.
0% win rate.
And somehow, we're going to have Abrams picked on both sides. A DLNS first here. We're going to have double Abrams.
If we're going to put Abrams down there, can I be green Abrams at the very least? Like,
no. No, the bluer the better.
There we go.
TP with a lash and a little eyelash cut.
They picked Jason over me. This is actually ridiculous. I can't believe it.
Wow. ZP is making us money. Since we started talking about ZP cosplay, we are up 40% in the subs over the last hour. Thank you all. Your boy Yash with the most recent Prime sub. Reminder, this is our first day with the sub button over on Twitch. Members are available over on YouTube, and we're also live on kick.com. We're bringing you the best players from North America and Europe on Deadlock every single week. This is the night shift. It's the 4th shift we've had, and we're finally getting paid thanks to our friends at Intel. Thank you all for supporting us up to this point and keeping us afloat. But Jason Kaplan, ZP, it's time for the game. Z-Pizzle, give us a little wiggle. You in the goo right now, baby. You feel like a goo ball, a little viscousy?
I feel safe in the cube. I mean, Viscous has some lines, just, offers people as like, would you like to be in the cube? And being the cube's actually pretty good.
I'm squishy.
Yep. That's all I got.
Can you give us your own version of that sound line?
No. I'm in the cube, like I'm safe in the cube. That also insulates me from requests. I don't hear your request while in the cube.
But can you hear the subs coming through?
Yeah, I do hear the subs coming through. But that actually goes through the cube.
Good to know.
How long am I going to be in the cube? It doesn't
Ladies
go away.
and gentlemen, the cube could be closer to you than you ever knew. ZP, our entertainer for this evening, is getting a raise based on this performance. Kaplan and I are just along for the ride. We're waiting for the players to sit back down because sometimes you have to pee and then like you get that phantom tickle and you're like, maybe I gotta go pee a second time. ZP said I'll have lots of time after the draft stage to go sit back down at my PC. Is that what's happening right now?
We're dehydrating the players after this. Like, I know it's Hydra Nation, and you could argue that, you know, it's actually Hydra the animal, but you go, what about hydration? Because the player's name is Hydration? No. We're moving all of it because, like, then they can't.
Are they not true gamers? Are they not true gamers? Hello?
Jason.
Do they not have their mineral water next to them to drink to stay not dehydrated and to hydrate themselves?
Found the person not on the bathroom.
Don't put it back in. No.
Good Lord. Oh.
God. It's so warm. Oh, start the game. Start the game.
Please.
What is happening?
teams.
Oh, boy.
Jason's drinking
Night
apple
shift.
juice, and it's, oh, boy.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Chicks dig
I
it.
just put that on everywhere.
Poor cat.
Oliver, help.
Yeah.
Oliver.
If you too want this to go away, a simple 10 gifted subs will get ZP back into purring, and we'll stop drinking.
Honestly, I'll take the purring at this point. Like, we need to actually self-center. We have gone off the rails as the teams have just... Who knows when the teams are going to be ready? The finished draft, at the very least. We did that.
I need to clean my floor.
Yeah.
What?
Clean my chair. And my pants. And my dog's doing nothing about it. He's looking at me like, what do you want me to do?
I ain't liking that.
Oh.
Okay, Solomon, we got any highlights or anything? Like, can we
Oh, please.
go to like a
You know what?
hydration?
I have a topic actually we can discuss if I can
Please
throw
do.
it in there. Of our 6 heroes, ZP, who's our, in your opinion, biggest winners and biggest losers? I think there was a lot of curiosity around who would be like really strong. I think we found out with Victor coming in last that he was actually probably one of the strongest and most broken heroes to be released, even though he came in last.
This is the easiest question in the world. At the top of the mountain, it's Billy. Billy is great and arguably the best frontliner in the game. At the bottom is Mina, where she is not only not very good right now power-wise, but she will troll your ranked games because her character design is so popular that she gets a very high pick rate even while not being that good right now. So that's where you're at right now. If by game power, at the very least.
Oh. It's our shift 4 hero priority list, and ZP, there's some little colors at the bottom. What do they mean?
The colors basically tell you what was banned or picked, and whether it was first round banned or first round picked. And obviously, as you're trying to figure out hero priority, anything that's getting picked earlier in the draft, generally speaking, has a higher level of power, which is why you look at Holiday, and every single game, Holiday is either first round banned or first round picked, because Holiday in a competitive environment is just that good. Same for Viscous. And of course, you look at the very bottom where you got absolutely no marks whatsoever, no love for quite a few heroes. Probably the most interesting hero not represented here today is Infernus, where Infernus is, falling pretty low for a variety of different reasons.
Week 2 is almost every single game, but that was before everyone came back. Washi Pop, Bat to Room, sorry, lots of Taco Bell. That's the difference between Europe and America. We're allowed to put stuff in our meat that makes you take a 22-minute break before your matchup against Hydra Nation and Lil Troops. It's crazy, ZP. It's wild what they allow us to do here.
Yep, you know what? It's just a little bit of fun that we get to have here on the night shift, but thank God we are getting into game. Jason, the time to be cubed, the time to be drinking apple juice at suspiciously weird timing, it's all over. We're into it. And we'll see if Hydra Nation will make the page work.
You know, I really hate Puckett right now because he said it's getting sticky here. And I was like, how the hell is it sticky? Like, why is it sticky? And now I'm sticky from what I was drinking. And so is my floor. So this man has some prediction powers. I went down the wrong hole, man.
Your lungs have not recovered.
Down the wrong hole. Who says hole?
What is that? That's a common phrase, man.
We say pipe where I'm from, but you know, do you?
Well,
I mean, I'm from Arkansas, you know.
Look, speaking of things being done, the right-hand lane, the glorious Billy Page lane that's been going on the right, actually pushing down the viscous Geist lane as Jason, are you good?
I have to say, Blood Main has the best comment of the night. I think we need to give this person VIP. Poshy Pop, more like Poshy Poop.
2 thumbs up.
Yep. I mean, it's an obvious pun, but it checks out.
You got a Gordita coming in the mail for you, sir. But heading into the game, I think we haven't really touched on like compositions much. Hydra Nation, they've got like a really beefy front line with an amazing support line. With Paige, I could really see that her rallying charge can be super effective in this combo. When you swap or hook someone in, you push the entire team back that tries to rescue that person, and there's just no way you're going to be able to keep them alive. Also, like the double like slams and control they have with AVG and Leffa in the front line. Hydra Nation have a very, very scary team comp.
Also, it's not too often that you see Yamato getting bullied a bit in the early game, but, well, Abrams Holiday, that can be pretty darn scary. Holiday for the poke end of it, and Abrams just punish you if you're out of position, charge you into sights unseen, which is exactly what happened there. AVG just, not even a stun on the stride, but just put stride so out of position that the fall through is relatively easy. And here's what you see a lot, Jason, when you're able to push up a lane and get lane advantage the way that they have in middle, that gives you time to get boxes at this like 2 to 5 minute window where you can really get ahead as opposed to the team that's stuck staying in lane where they'll miss CS.
Yeah, and I think one thing we saw with the last game, like Stride definitely had a tough start on the shift. Eventually came back because of obviously the team coming through. I mean, looking at that lane in particular, he's at 1.8K compared to AVG at 2.7. That's already a horrible start for them. So I don't know how they kind of fix that for him and Rhino in particular, because you're going to need to have a decent front line to deal with this, or you're just going to be popped by AVG and Leffa directly in your face. Oh my gosh, this is
dying right now.
Yeah.
You know, is where it is, but also the pressure on the middle, just keeping Lash back where, you know, it's interesting. The level of poke coming in, Lash isn't particularly wounded here, but the way that Lash is staying that way is just applying almost no pressure in turn on the mid lane. So a rough beginning here so far for Mott and Pashi in the middle.
I didn't know Deathly renamed him Mott.
Deathy thought he was safe from getting strays because TF2 Boomers isn't a thing, and little did Deathy know that Jason still here, still ready to open fire.
It's gonna be 2028, and we're gonna be like Deadlock International, you know, year 3, and I'm still gonna bring up Deathy. Don't worry. I mean, also he was innovator in cat suits, to be fair, as he did wear one on his own stream.
He did set the meta. Leffa though, punish on the viscous. And actually, one thing we didn't touch on here is who's playing what. Hydration really is the ultimate flex for Hydra Nation. Where we heard that in an interview with Hydration, but also Hydration of all players getting thrown onto the page, and you know, it's Leffa who says, "No, I'm the GOAT," literally and figuratively.
You know, it would be actually kind of sick if like we do have some sort of like big international land someday, or like the international, I mean, sorry, and we do what League does, where the winning team, like the best team of the year, gets like a custom skin, and then you could have the Leffa, the GOAT skin for Billy. I could dig with that. But we see a fight breaking out here on the right-hand side. Leffa trying to go for the chase. And the thing is with Billy, I haven't had time to play him yet because obviously it's really hard to get him in games. But in terms of like mechanical skill, do you rate Billy as one of those heroes that Leffa could extremely excel on?
I think so, especially because a lot of it is just having good timings on things like melees and parrying and knowing how you can push limits. I think being able to get away with max amount of melees without eating a parry, actually a high skill set and something that Leffa excels at. But Lasso in, putting Stride in a real tough spot. Not gonna be able to shake the pressure that time around. And Yeah, I mean, one thing I was going to note too, in regards to how Billy's being played, I do like the itemization call of just going backstabber, because the most common thing to do when a Billy is running at you is to run away, reposition. And the choice of backstabber just gives you a lot of free extra damage for a situation that Billy is usually in.
You know what's one of the most annoying things about Backstabber 2 is that you could roll backwards while facing them and still get shot in the back. So it's like really hard to prevent that if you're going to use your stamina to escape them. You're still going to get procced on. Unless I'm just really bad at the game and I'm turning my back, which I don't think I was. Still really hard to deal with here, but we can see the pressure on this right-hand side. A 6-minute Guardian off the bat here for Hydra Nation. Like, Leffa's been able to do some work with hydration on the right-hand side. So is AVG with Lowman on the left-hand side. And even a big dive here in the middle lane coming out of the rest of Hydra Nation.
Taken down by the Bull. That's also 6 minutes in right now, Jason. Hydra Nation there's playing without fear, and then there's not even being capable of fear. And that feels like the zone Hydra Nation is in at the moment, where it's just been unchecked aggression in every lane. 2 Guardians already down. The 3rd Guardian, who knows how long it's going to last the way that the left-hand lane has been going. And Leffa just gets to dive with reckless abandon.
Especially with the support of hydration there. And speaking of diving with reckless abandon, they're doing this left-hand side. Finally, AVG will be the one to go down. The rotation on G-Freak coming in behind as well, so they might be able to turn this one around. As I can tell, there's really no backup coming in. But maybe they're going to lose another player. Rhino on a sliver of HP will fall to low main, but they at least take down Lord NM during all this. So a good little rotation coming out of Little Troops to prevent that last Guardian from going down, but it doesn't change the fact that they're still down about 7,000 souls, and it's continuing to grow here, especially with low main getting that kill.
Being down 1,000 souls for every minute of gameplay is wild work, is the best way I can describe that. And yeah, I mean, you think about how this is going to play out with the heroes that are selected. The front line of Hydra Nation, particularly when you look at Leffa and the Billy, is just going to be able to play in a very greedy fashion. They're going to be able to force fights whenever they want with this sort of lead. And as we get into buffs coming up, as we get into first earn, I think Hydra Nation, the type of team that they're going to be putting Lil Troops in almost impossible macro decisions to deal with as a result.
I mean, obviously, Hydra Nation, the best macro team in North America by far. But then if you look at like the synergies between some of the heroes that they're playing here, I feel like Paige is such a good addition. I'll get back to that moment in just a sec as we do see the chain gang come out here, but a great Death Slam pulls in 3 on top of the building. And Pashi Pop is eventually going to fall. As you can see, Leffa able to just take up so much of this damage. Still look to run away. And he will fall to the chase here out of Flaws. But I saw a big fight coming through.
That spot where the bag was actually a huge troll. I mean, you can pick it up, but it may take a try or two. But reasonable response here from Lil Troops, able to pick off some kills, punish Hydra Nation for being, frankly, very deep in their territory. A lot of lead has been evaporated. Stride, though, pick up a little bit more they could chew on the left-hand side. Now, gonna be chased down on the Rhino. Holiday right behind. We'll see how acrobatic a mole can get. Still another barrel in reserve, and okay, forces out the lasso if nothing else. Wait, didn't hit the pad in time, didn't get the extension, and that is one slippery mole. We did say the Mo 1v1s, we do grease up the Mo's. There's just a little bit of residual grease from the 1v1.
Okay, yeah. Yes, 100%. I think there was 3 missed barrels though coming out of low main, at least 2 for sure. I think he threw 1 barrel, which we saw rolling around when he initially got to that staircase with Rhino trying to escape. I think if he hit that one, that would for sure would have been a kill. But either way, I don't think they're going to really cry over any spilt milk here. They're going to now look to focus on this left-hand lane to take down this last Guardian. And I was trying to say before, I feel like Paige fits really well into this combo because you have AVG and Leffa able to push really deep into enemy lines with defend and fight being given to them by Paige if we see hydration go for the level 5 of it or level 3 of it. But also captivating read. If you get a lockdown on anyone, that person is going to be killed because of the immobilize that comes in thereafter. I think they have a really strong like pick potential combo with this entire lineup that they have.
It's quite strong overall, and when you start breaking down into, okay, what are win conditions going to look like here for Little Troops? Well, one of the main win conditions, of course, would be your Amato getting ahead of the game, which right now it's going to be a bit of a climb with Stride at 8,000. The highest point, probably Flaws, close to 10k, but Geist hasn't been quite as dominating due to a variety of changes, hero meta, etc., the way that Geist was in the past. But taking a look here, Hydra Nation going to be leading the charge here in the urn, and the game is close enough that's a neutral urn. I will say for Lil Troops, Death Slam being up, they have some options here for the urn contest, but I think a lot is going to depend on what Mott is able to find.
They have to get aggressive to catch out this urn, because like realistically you're not going to look to turn this one in because you're leaving AVG to push on this left hand side. They're looking for a walker. They're not looking for the urn turn in, and a phenomenal escape. The Death Slam not going to connect here, and he's going to get away to the safety of his own lane. Again, the left lane is being shoved in while all this is happening, and all Hydra Nation needs to do is just not die. Don't give over any kills. Stay alive here, and you're going to have a net win no matter what. And they get the urn turn in while all this is happening, swinging it around the backhand side for the turn in.
There is no way that they're gonna get the urn and also potentially the walker at the same time. I mean, that's not a trade, that's just robbery that's going on right now, Jason. And it is a testament to how good Hydra Nation is at macro decisions, but also on the same note, I think Mott got a little bit over aggressive on that last Death Slam, the ground Death Slam, as it were.
Well, speaking of being overzealous here, G-Free gets caught out in mid. Not able to get too much damage on this left-hand walker with the urn being pushed in towards the right-hand side. But still a complete macro win as we now see Hydra Nation up 10,000 souls up against Lil Troops. And you talked about win conditions before, and I mean, Stride, he is slowly starting to farm up at 10k. The problem is he's behind Rokane, he's behind AVG, he's behind Hydration. Oh, I'll ignore that one for now because that's not that big of a deal when it comes to Page. But he's behind Leffa. And I don't know when you have that, you know, those three players already so far ahead that you're going to be able to accomplish too much. But the question comes, like, do you feed Stride? Do you feed Poshupop? You're going to be kind of limited in the amount of farm that you can give over to specific players. And as we saw in the last game, you need to let Poshupop farm. But then does that mean Mott's going to sacrifice his farm? His Flaw's going to sacrifice? And you really have to make those decisions that are going to pretty much play out an effect if you can win and come back, or if you can come back, first of all, and win, or if you're just going to be going to match 2 down one map.
Don't love the combo on the Abrams of all characters there. I mean, unless you had instant fall through, that's just sort of a frustration combo. You know, you're hitting Abrams, but what is the end result? Well, he didn't know if support was coming, so he drops a seismic slam in turn. Overall, also here, just the melee lifesteal there, by the way, too. Just Mo doesn't realize that Abrams has been melee, turns the corner, and actually heals AVG back up to full.
I mean, yeah, he's got Resto Shot, and he's got Life Strike. Like, that's just so much extra healing that he's gonna get. And also, with, you know, with hydration, if he sticks around, that's gonna be a lot of extra healing and shielding that can help out too. And actually to go on the aggression here, looking for the catch. They do catch it onto Stride. He has escaped though. The lockdown not gonna be long enough for them to turn this into a kill. But you can just see on the map, there's really no jungle to take for Little Troops here, and Hydration still have a lot available on their own side of the map. And I think that's just really Hydration taking every single penny they possibly can out of the pocketbooks of Little Troops.
It does feel bad when you look at the Gambas just getting taken across the map and you realize it's not your team grabbing them. And even the side church getting contested, AVG going in, not a single crumb of farm being allocated to Lil Troops. So it's not just the map control that we're seeing in terms of the objectives here, Jason. Even just finding open boxes, finding open camps has been a struggle for Lil Troops, and it's really reflected in the overall soul economy.
Yeah, and I think this is where we talk about like that macro play and how it's so important that you can execute things properly. I'm not sure if that was me lagged out or if that was actually our feed or not.
That was the feed. Your internet's
okay.
off the hook this time.
Yeah, but this is where teams can really punish you, and a team like Hydra Nation will do it any day of the week. Rhino's gonna be caught out with a lasso. Scorn's gonna keep you alive for a little bit of time, but you know eventually you're gonna fall, especially with the burrow into the kinetic shot right after. But with that kill, it's like, what can they accomplish now? I mean, they caught him out in the jungle. They're still pushing the left-hand side. They can push the right lane walker. Poshupop's going to be coming in towards the backhand side to deal with Hydra Nation, but they've lost a defending player with Stride going down. I don't think Poshupop can really win this fight here on the left-hand lane.
Well, man, getting hit from all sorts of ends here. 5 HP, no dream, just done. Pretty sticky. I would agree. I mean, you have to imagine that the aftermath of any Viscous fight is not the cleanest thing in the Cursed Apple, but
that was dirty. Paradoxical Swap comes through onto Flaws, so he can't cast the Soul Exchange, so he can't heal himself back up, and they get the confirmed kill. As really good, I guess, like knowledge of the situation out of Lord and them to secure that kill.
You know, Jason, thinking back to the draft, I do wonder how much of this was something that Lil Troops was caught off guard by draft-wise, because it's been a long time since we've seen a team grab both Holiday and Paradox as 1 and 2 in the draft. Usually a team will grab their preferred of the two and leave the other one be. But this time around, Hydra Nation just said, actually, why not both? Because I don't think the way Lil Troops has looked good that they necessarily wanted to put Mod on the Lash. I feel like, while it was their third choice for a playmaker in this instance, it was a pretty distant third relative to getting either Holiday or Paradox.
I don't know, honestly. I feel like if you ever don't pick a playmaker, I mean, I don't know. I don't think you expect them to be picked as like 1 and 2, but like maybe 1 or 2 and 3, you would do it. I think picking 2 off the get-go, you leave open a lot of heroes. Maybe that's what can catch them off guard for sure. So I can definitely see it that way. It doesn't really happen often in the first 2, but it definitely happens often in the first 3 if you don't secure one of them. And speaking of securing, I mean, we're going to see this left lane Walker go down. There's no defense out of Lil Troopers. They realize they have to give this one up, because if they commit, they're going to just lose a couple more players. Not a good look. Lord and M gets stunned up here by the Walker, but they get the kill on it nonetheless. And they continue to grow this lead to over 20,000 souls here, ZP, only 17 minutes in.
I think the great part about seeing moments like that in pro play, it's just a note that no one is too good to accidentally get hit by the Walker as it throws down stuns. Everyone's fallible.
Yeah. At least that's what I say. I saw Lord and M doing it. He's on the best NA team, so if he can do it, I can do it.
Yeah, so when you go into your pub game and you die because you're close to the Walker, you just be like, look, I'm just emulating what I saw the best of the best do. Swamp, though, comes on in, Mott through the wall, through the silence, gets a cube for a little moment of peace, but it's going to be short-lived as the chase down comes in into the closet of doom, of which there is no escape.
You saw the paradoxical swap into the captivating read out of Page from Hydration. He could not go anywhere, and they even had silence on top of that. Like, you could see the struggle for Mott to do anything. Any person you do that to is just going to die, especially with how far ahead Hydra Nation are. And with that 1 kill in the Mott, they're like, you know what? Mid boss is up. Why not take it? They know they can't be contested on this. They're too far ahead. Little Troops pretty much have to get this one up for free, because realistically, you take 1 credit away. I don't think you're going to win the team fight off the back of this.
I have a request from the chat. This General Tokyo asking for more Page, please. I get it.
Well, they go for the Rejuvenator. Both Rejuvenators going to be hit here by Hydra Nation. One from Lil Troops immediately triggered in turn. One taken out here by Hydra Nation. And the fall through is decisive in on the ground, where, by the way, like, low main just hits the lasso as you saw Rhino go in and try and get a bite of the apple, so to speak.
Hydration even has Cultist. I feel like that really kind of shows how much they want to take away as much of the jungle as they possibly can. Finally, the last Guardian of the game does go down as Lil Troop gets it, and they finally get a flex on unlocked, but at what kind of cost here?
I'll go the other end on that and say, regardless of hero, I think Cultist may be a little bit too good right now, because the way, if you actually look at the math on Cultist, even for heroes that you might think, oh, do you actually want to get this? The stats are really good, and the bonus souls alone will pay for themselves pretty quickly, even on the time scale of your average pub game, which means it's time scale of your average pro game, which means in your pub games that tend to go way longer, the item just has ridiculous value. So I don't think there's a single hero in the game that you could build Cultists on where I'd be like, oh, that's a bad idea. I think it just kind of works.
I think it also just reinforces the way Hydra Nation like to take control of games, of just once they get that drop of blood in the water, they swarm over it like a shark, and they just take all of your jungle they possibly can. Just pop in there for a quick tier 3 camp take, and then just back out and just continue to grow that lead. Because when you're taking away souls, you're kind of double dipping, because you're preventing them from getting it, and you're getting yourselves. And speaking of getting it right now, Left is doing it as he gets comboed up here. If the chain gang comes through, he does have his teammates to back him up. Catches, I believe, 3 on top of that Posture Pop going down, and this Billy, he doesn't seem to care. He's just directly in the face of the entire enemy team still.
I mean, Billy's HP just has not been moving after the combo. Just staying alive, being incredibly durable, finally going to go down, trigger the last Rejuvenator, get rid of the buff for the rest of Hydra Nation. But you've done all this to not even permanently kill Billy just to get a rejuve. It's not the trade that is going to bring you back in the game, especially when you're now down 44,000 souls.
They did that like 4v6. I mean, Lord and M wasn't there. Neither was Hydration. They were off pushing walkers. They get the right and the mid lane walker from this. And that just kind of shows how far ahead Hydra Nation are at the moment, approaching almost 50,000 souls here, ZP. This is, I think maybe we can say it, since we got burned by Puckett in the last game. this should be impossible to come back from.
I'm still not, I said almost impossible. Like, I think you got the caveat. I'm good to do almost impossible. I'm never going to say impossible. Like, a team could be down 100K and
coward
disconnected. And I'm not going to say impossible. Like, nah, not doing it.
I mean, Leffa has frenzy now. Can you say it or not?
No.
Okay.
I mean, Leffa also could just randomly die, and then, you know, the rage could overtake him, and his keyboard could go through his monitor. You don't know. Like, these are the X factors that not everyone considers, but should be aware of.
I mean, the captivating read doesn't catch, but it doesn't matter. G-Freak goes down, which is the paradoxical swap. They also get an earn turn, and you can see on the map, Little Troops are trying to push the left-hand lane to maybe look for a walker or maybe catch out Rokane, who's honestly just surviving 1v3 at the moment, able to retreat onto the safety of his own Guardian while his team continues to push here in the mid lane. And AVG is going to be coming to help out here in a few moments, even the teleport out of or low main to reinforce this one. And I don't think they're going to get the walker in time. I think they're just going to get their early death.
It's looking rough for Lil Troops. I mean, if you could get any trade from them at this point, you kind of feel incentivized to get it, especially when you want just a walker to get the slot. But it's a bit of a struggle, and it's not getting any easier. The lead now ballooning to 60,000 souls. We haven't used the term stat check today, at least being you, Jason, but it's more like a, well, what's an even better word for it? Because I feel like stat check is underselling where we're at.
It's just trying to go up against an unstoppable force or a movable object here at this point. I mean, we saw there, like they win a fight, what was it, like 3v, like kind of 4 near the walker as well. And while this was happening with the production, giving us that sweet split shot of the push coming on the base. Like, this is gonna be a very quick and easy take here for Hydra Nation on the first map.
They didn't wait at the end. They just said, you know what, we can do this. We'll lock in map 1. And of course, that brings them one map closer to the $1,000 prize pool here in North America. Hydra Nation still looking good.
Already counting the 500 out as they lock in game number 1. Hydra Nation has won 3 straight here on the night shift, looking to make it a perfect 4-0 start. Going up against a squad that kind of had to eke their way back in after being down huge early games. So, ZP, it's not over, but it's not looking good for the Lil Troops. What was the difference this time around playing the Juggernauts in Hydra Nation?
I think we got another lesson in Deadlock that you have to be competitive in the early game. You cannot lose your early lanes as badly as Lil Troops did and have any expectation to do anything else in the rest of the game, barring just a draft that somehow saves you in the mid game. But even then, they just lost way too hard, way too early. You can't be down 8,000 souls before 10 minutes into the game. If you lose all 3 lanes that dramatically, you just don't really have a ideal path back into the game.
And you
As we
also
take a look at some of the highlights, Billy seemed to get a lot of love from the chat. Cap, who also were you looking at throughout this? Who do you want to give praise to here from Hydra Nation?
You know, I would kind of say Lord NM. Not just because he's going to be on the graveyard shift later on, which if you guys are a patron supporter, YouTube member, or a Twitch sub, you can have access to and ask questions to Lord NM, and of course us on the show. I think like the swaps he had were just really well timed. The backup was there. He was very like aware of where his teammates were around him to facilitate these paradoxical swaps into kills. And I'm assuming his assists have to be like ridiculously high on the team. Him and like low main together were really able to create those pick opportunities that Little Troops just like. What do you do when you have like the 2 pick potential out of those 2 heroes? Not to mention if you get charged into a wall, you're probably gonna die on top of that.
Love seeing the Paradox play once again. Paige finds a dub on the stream, and who is it? It's Hydration playing her. I didn't learn much. The chat was asking for more. Is Paige going to be like a star player on the team? Is it just a support? How does this new character break down? Because Billy clearly wants to be at the front of every gunfight, ZP.
I think Paige, more than anything else, just gives you really high control over fights. Also, really high ability of the combo. You think about what Billy does, right? You can open up with a ram rush. People are stuck for a moment. Throw in the captivating read right after. And you got a one-way ticket to Paintown immediately thereafter. Paige has a lot of natural organic combos on top of the fact that her ult is one of the most disruptive things in the game for things like mid-team fights. And I think she's a hero that's going to get more and more play as time goes on. And this may be the one instance where NA might be a little bit ahead of EU, because EU's been a little bit hesitant to use Paige quite as often.
Don't forget ZP. Thick thighs save lives here. I mean, he did a great job with the captivating reads off the top of a swap. I think I'm still like kind of unconvinced about Paige in general, to be perfectly honest. I feel like out of the 6 heroes released, she's kind of at the lower end of the spectrum, like with Mina a little bit. But I think if you can play her at a high level and you play a comp that facilitates what she can bring at the same time, I think she can be pretty damn strong.
Lord NM will be joining us on the Graveyard Shift. That is right, Vadux in the chat. Welcome in, everybody. If you are just tuning in, you caught the end of the show. We've already done Europe. We've done the first half of North America, and now we're on match point. ZP, I'm pretty excited about this one, because I think Hydra Nation could go for a speed round, or they could show us something really fun with a comp. If you were dreaming for the fun side, though, what would you hope to see, and what could be the final fight of Night Shift 4?
So Letha and Hydration, they are the iconic duo in NA, usually in lanes together, usually playing heroes that combo well together. Give me the Hydration Victor and the Letha Drifter. The Victor Drifter, put them together. I want to see it actually work, because I do think those two heroes have potential with each other. I'm not entirely sure we'll see it. The opposite end, I'd say, for Lil Troops, don't give up both Paradox and Holiday. At least, at the very minimum, make sure that Hydra Nation doesn't get to play both at the same time.
Kaplan, is there anyone that you haven't seen yet today that you want to see brought out that isn't a new character?
Oh, I was gonna say Mina, just because I'm trying to get my
okay,
wife
well,
to
Mina
cosplay
too.
her one
Mina,
day.
you know, she's always a good answer to any question. But what about any of the OGs?
I kind of want to see Infernus. I never thought I would say, like, on the show, I miss Infernus, but I kind of miss Infernus. Like, we haven't seen him all day today. We don't see him that often anymore, and he was kind of a staple of, like, Hydration in particular with Letha. That's when we really started to make a name for himself back in DFN, was just the ridiculous 1v2, 1v3s he was able to pull off. But, you know, Infernus, even some Dynamo. Like, what was it? Hydration was the first Dynamo player in DFN, if I'm not mistaken, too. So,
Yep.
I'm a big fan of him.
Boom. All right, production, I don't think we're going to a break. I think our players are going to be ready, unless Pashi is still dealing with the Taco Bell gremlins. We've all been there. We've all battled him. He seemed to have won the initial fight, but might be losing the war in the most recent battle in the grand final. We got a break coming up. We're going to give them an extra moment. Give yourselves an extra moment to find that Prime button. It's the free crown. You use it on this channel, and you do it every month because it's fight night. It's now Night Shift. We've rebranded. It's even better. It's Deadlock. We'll be back after the break. Welcome back to Night Shift number 4, where Mom's new friend just hit us with the Prime. We are nearly halfway to a cat suit from Jake. Yes, your own cat maid could join us in. What better way to celebrate than learning how to purr with ZP? Those big toes, you're not wrong. It's so hot. ZP, kick us off. So let's celebrate. We're up to 439. Can you give us a ferocious purr?
All right, one more purr for the road, just one.
Wait, can you make cat ears with your hand while you do it?
No.
Yeah, sorry. Jason and I were talking. We could just do one more.
That's a stretch goal.
Just a little.
Oh my god. We did it. We did it.
Was it worth it, chat?
Damn, that's so hot.
That got weird. All right.
We found Jason
somewhere on the internet. Probably someone at the FBI's.
By the way,
computer.
Jason's exact words as we went to break. Okay, I'll be right back. It is so sticky around me right now after it went out of the wrong hole. Like,
Hey, it happens to the best of us, you know? I'm 37 years old. You know, it's bound to happen once in my life. I just didn't expect it to be live on camera in front of all these viewers.
Hey, give them whatever show you want to, Jason. We're not getting paid yet. Let's take a look here at what we've got for the draft. Our same old. Pocket is not going to be played tonight. Little Troops hate him. What's going on with that?
Lil Troops, I mean, I think when you ban the pocket, it's both part you respect the fact that Hydra Nation can play a really good pocket, but I think it's also, who knows, it may be a part where Lil Troops decides they want to angle towards something like a Victor, where pocket is one of the picks that tends to give him a little bit more trouble. I think for Little Troops, when you're a team that's down on mechanics anyways. I think you're actually incentivized facing elimination to get a little bit weird with it and look to do things like a Victor, like a Drifter, and try and like break the meta in a way that beats Hydra Nation from a different approach. Because I think if you fight Hydra Nation, fundamentals versus fundamentals, I don't know if that works out for Little Troops in this series.
Sherbert TF wants to know if we can be professional, Jason Kaplan. Lock in. Talk about Holiday and the leash and the lasso and how like
Who's ever professional on a night shift? I mean, isn't that the shift you take to slack off?
It's definitely the one that, yeah, you have like the easiest boss for sure. Solomon is
exactly
loosening the reins tonight. We appreciate it, buddy. Paradox locked in.
I like this adaptation though from the first game, right? We saw Little Troops lose out on both pick heroes because Hydra Nation snatched them up 1 and 2 slots. So they pick Holiday right off the bat to make sure to have one of those available. But obviously now Hydra Nation get to maybe pick a new hero coming through. I'm actually curious, EP, if we were to merge Drifter and Victor into one name, what would their name be? Because I'm kind of like leaning towards Dictor.
Yeah, I mean, you've answered your own question. I thought you were setting me up to like say the obvious here, but I think you've solidified it. But also what Hydra Nation has solidified is said, Little Troops, we know you like having Pashi Pop on the 7. You've been doing it all day. And because you've decided to go for the Holiday, we're going to take that away from you. But Warden finally making his appearance. Been a somewhat Warden light night. But, you know, not the hero I wanted to see from Little Troops. Not a Victor nor a Drifter yet.
Thank you for firming things up for us. It's cat night tonight. Let's celebrate with Meep Toss in the chat. We got Slothicus Roboticus who just dropped off the sub. Night shift is when no work is done. That's right. Buy the t-shirts. We will split the profits with whoever makes it, but it'll be like a 90-10 situation where we grossly take most of the profit. Jason Kaplan, is there any way that, like, with this game being in an alpha, we can speed this portion up? Because my ADHD just goes insane, despite a Victor being on the board. I know we have to wait like 6 more minutes before we get to the game.
It used to be slower. We actually did speed up the draft a little bit. It used to be 26 seconds per pick. Now I believe it's 22 per pick. But you know what? Production does have the technology to push it even faster. We could potentially drop down to like 15 seconds a pick.
I'm breaking ZP's brain right now. He's like, no, we have rules. We have to follow the rules.
Anyway, no, he sees Victor. He's like, I want to talk about Victor. Please, can you guys shut up so I can talk about Victor? You know what? If you purr one more time,
he's strong late game, right? He's going to come back eventually and not go 0-for-3 on his first night.
You'd think. I mean, we've also seen this movie before where Billy was having a bad day the first time Billy came out, and Hydra Nation couldn't bring Billy over the finish line either. So I don't know if that's going to be the case. I think if anyone can make it work, it's Hydration. But again, I go for Hydra Nation and say, why just stop at Victor? Right now, there's a vampire hobo out there looking for a home, looking for a few people to take out, and his name is Drifter. You got 2 more picks left. You got to find it. No, don't get Mina. Mina's bad. Just let her be. She'll be fine.
Mina's bad now?
Yes.
I thought Listic made her look good. Okay. So Mina's not cool anymore. Billy's the shit. Everything is flipped on its head. Victor apparently is great endgame if you can get there, but no one's been able to do it so far. And the doorbell person, they just don't like the doorman despite his really cool doors. They're just made for solo queue. Is that what I get so far, Zeeps?
The problem with Doorman is that the doors are a little bit buggy, so when you actually need consistent door plays, you may get delayed by a second or two, and that consistently kills in pro games. Also, I think while Doorman can be a bit of a lane bully right now, his scaling relative to other options that you could run, something like a Holiday, it just, there's better options than Doorman, is kind of the conclusion at the moment.
No more Lash, no more Vindicta for me to look at. You're right, Dreamer. We have no sticky substance and no pockets. A Yamato comes out. Is that a gun Kelvin or a healing Kelvin for Hydra Nation? How do they like to play it, Jason?
Healing Kelvin. Yeah, I think Jamstad's the only gun Kelvin we see outside of like streamers, to be honest. What I'm also looking towards, we did have a Kelvin Shiv lane earlier on today that just didn't really work too well. Little Troops played it in the first match of the day, in the challenger match. What I'm looking towards also is like Victor, who naturally builds a lot of spirit resist, up against a Warden who wants to hit you with a fat last stand, which is spirit damage. So I'm wondering, is like Victor also a really good counter to be able to just stand and soak up the Warden's last stand damage?
You know, it's half and half for that matchup, because on one hand, eventually you do get to the point where you take very little damage from Warden, but Warden is also building Heal Bane and like continually striking with Heal Bane as stuff is going on. So, you know, you get at least a consistent anti-heal that's going on, but you are right, in the late game, Victor is just kind of like, Warden, what's going on here, buddy?
While we watched Shiv, this was a character that was kind of banned out for my first 2 shifts. So what is this guy supposed to do amongst the team? What should we look for? Because chat was kind of obsessed saying he's crap. No, he's good. He's pro, played right. What's the expectation when Shiv's in a lineup?
Just to execute. I think that's kind of it, right? You can be relatively tanking if you max your bloodletting, which is your 3 ability, which has been changed as a recent time, so you can kind of shrug off more of the damage. But with the change of, was it the 3-lane, not the 3-lane meta, it was a shop change that we had. Everyone had kind of all across the board more HP. And Shiv's execute works off percent health, so he kind of just became stronger overall because of that. But then some slight nerfs hit him, and people were kind of like, we don't want to play him anymore, but he's still a strong hero, period, if you have a good team behind him.
ZP, did you see the reason why we're delayed?
I did, and it's contagious. Apparently, there was more than one team indulging in Taco Bell tonight. Hydra Nation, Leffa. Well, you know what? He's living up to Poshy Pop's new namesake. That's all you got to know, as Leffa is single-handedly delaying the game with his bathroom break.
I will say, though, Hydra Nation getting the job done in 22 minutes sets the record here on Night Shift 4. Can they beat their own record for fastest game? When we see this graphic, it normally means it's game time, baby. On the mic, it's ZP and Jason Kaplan. Game on.
All right, Jason, the question
I think the answer to his question is depends on how quickly they need to use the toilet again. If we're going to have a quicker game than 22 minutes, because they might want to end it soon if they have to hurry.
Yeah, I mean, it's rough out there in NA is what we got. But I will say, Jason, is this the time that Victor picks up his first W, or is he as cursed as his Frankenstein-esque body?
I find it hard to say that he's going to go 0-4 on the day. Like, it's Hydra Nation. They had such a dominating first game as well. And we see AVG actually be picking up. And honestly, I rate AVG as personally, not because, you know, I'm kind of friends with them. You know, we hang out with the chillest dudes, go to the coolest restaurants, or one of the ways that we say that. No, because I think he's like one of the actual best players in North America. And if he's going to pick up a Victor, I feel like he's going to have insanely strong presence on it. But it's also like Hydration. If he has a bad game, Leffa, Rokane are both going to have insanely good games too. So it's not like one player's going to make or break the success of Hydra Nation.
I'm getting deja vu, Jason. Like, you weren't the one that did the AVG hype last time around, but when AVG pulled out the Billy, when Billy was brand new, much of the same reasoning was used. And then Hydra Nation proceeded to lose the map. So you got all that aura and prestige, but you also have recent history that, you know, works a little against it.
Duck Buck was also throwing up $100, we should mention. The chat put a bounty on the Billy. AVG was stepping up big for us.
That's right. There was a bounty that day.
So he made like $1,100 on the day then instead of the 1,000.
Well, no, that was back when we were crowdfunding. That was pre-Intel. That was Night Shift number 2. We didn't start with Intel again until Night Shift 3.
Very true. I'm also curious to see how maybe some of these lanes play out. We can see Leffa in the left-hand lane on the 7 up against the Stride Abrams. And I believe he has AVG with him here on the side too.
Taking a look, just a little bit of chase down here on the left. But you look at the objectives of the lanes here. I don't necessarily think either end of this left-hand lane wants to get all that aggro overall. I mean, with Warden, you're usually waiting until last stand is available before you're making any plays. And Victor and Seven, neither of which are necessarily looking to get super frisky in the beginning. So left lane, I would expect to be pretty quiet here, Jason. Unlike, I would say, the middle lane, where you got Yamato Holiday, and it is about as much pressure as you can possibly generate for Little Troops.
I think that's the lane they need to win then, if they want to have like a win condition, is get a strong start from Mott, who's actually going to be on the Yamato this time, as we're going to see Stride over on the Abrams. I think you get that lane going, then you could have a really decent chance in this, but you're still up against, you know, a Paradox and a Mirage, and that's still going to be a lot of poke that's coming your way as well. So it's not necessarily a free win, But speaking of like free wins, I guess Lil Troops are keeping a lot of pressure on this left-hand lane. Binding, we're going to come through on the AVG, get them low. The double static charge going to connect to force them back. But if you're looking at anyone to, I guess, maybe not do damage to, and I think you'd almost want to avoid AVG since he's going to regen most of his health.
Yeah, you would think in this case. The one nice part about laning versus Victor early at the very least is that you don't have that many charges of jumpstart, usually just one, unless you rush extra charge. But a little bit of a skirmish going on here in middle, where, we're talking about the one end of it, where you got the Holiday Yamato. Still reasonable poke the other way around if you're dealing with Mirage Paradox. So it's not fully one-sided. I would still definitely give the edge to the Yamato Holiday, just based on how the lanes usually go. But there's room to outplay at the very least.
Oh, that healing right gets canceled. That was actually pretty massive. You can see. And G-Freak's already low on health at 300 HP. Might even have to go back at some point, because if you take a lot of these shots, that Jin's mark at a Rokane, that health's just going to disappear, and you can see Rokane's being allowed to just continually get this harass off from the side. Then you even have, Lord and M there to go for the Connect Carbine too.
We didn't really touch on too much, but the right-hand side, I actually think the weakest lane by far for Lil Troops would be the Mo Wraith lane. I mean, Mo can be pretty good if you can be, essentially a distraction for something that's laying in good poke damage, but one of the biggest reasons why Wraith has seen a drop in priority in Deadlock as of late in draft is that, the Wraith lane phase just is pretty rough relative to other options that you could have, which is a big fall from grace, by the way, compared to the era where cards just nuked you out of lane nearly instantly.
Oh, another dive looking for a kill here. Rhino's going to take away Shiv's fall from the bleed of serrated knives, and there it is. Another kill coming through. When you talked about, Shiv Kelvin before, Puck had asked, is this a lane that, we should be afraid of? And ZP, we talked about how it kind of has fallen out of, being ultra S tier. But at the same time, if you get ahead in your lane, it is definitely one of the best and strongest lanes you can possibly get. We know Shiv can be insanely strong in the game when he gets ahead. Thinking back to that one-win bombshell with, was it Paravision destroying Virtus Pro off the hands of just Shiv alone. Even a dive happening towards the middle.
That game was a double boom, because they also gave up Vindicta Abrams. So they actually gave up 2 ultra S tier lanes at the time, and it just... I've never seen VP, now Buffingers, look worse in the early game than what happened in that game, because they...
Yeah, together, man, stomped them. Ridiculous. I think he was like 10k ahead of everyone in the game when he's left alone in his solo lane. But you can see, Mo and Wraith, realistically, you're just not going to have the damage you need to beat this lane. I mean, you do have some great ultimates to synergize. But again, like a Frozen Shelter. If you see Telekinesis come in, Frozen Shelter, you're going to keep Shiv alive. There's no chance for the combo to follow up with. And they're not going to kill anyone. I think it's almost impossible for Lil Troops to pull off a good combo to get a kill, unless Hydra Nation's sleeping.
Also on top of that, I mean, Wraith just is not that threatening until you get more of her core online.
Yeah.
I know, generally speaking, you almost don't have to fear Wraith until things like Magnum get built, in which case things start getting significantly scarier overall, but she definitely just has one of the longest ramp-ups for characters you would expect to carry the game into the late game.
It's also been nice to see low main have a little bit of a glow up, because I know he's kind of back in the melee creeps days. He flexed around roles a little bit depending on who was on the roster at the time, but I think in the Hydra Nation roster he's been able to really play heroes that he can excel on, and this is a good combo. But again, there is the Frozen Shelter. It locks out Wraith, so Poshipop can't assist, and Rhino's gonna be the one to go down. And look at low main, he's back over half HP from this.
I mean, Mo picked the fight, but Shiv ends up finishing with the aid of a little bit of icy assistance at the same note, and it does feel like this has been a little bit more the same. And okay, you go for the telekinesis there. Shiv isn't so low that you can dive that and not have it at the very minimum be a trade with a Kelvin just sitting there laying left clicks into you.
I think you have to be fair to Hydration, though. He came in with a really clutch timing on that heal too. I think Pashi maybe misread the charges Hydration had on his Frost Grenade, because if that Frost Grenade didn't come in, low main was dead 100%. So I think that was just a misread by Poshipop, unfortunately, there, as we do see the parries coming through, and that's gonna be Rokane going down with a great pickup out of G-Freak.
Middle lane most competitive here so far, but again, I think that's a bit of a testament to Hydra Nation, because I don't know, I guess I could be swayed either way. Overall, I would still have Holiday Yamato on paper as a little bit better, but again, it was kind of one of those lanes that's within the range of skill deciding it, and I mean, Hydra Nation has played it quite well here so far.
Well, here we go. Finding word, gonna lock down AVG. And he does. Nothing he can do about that one. No amount of regen's gonna save you in that situation, especially when your ultimate was down. And a good timing, good kill out of Lil Troops. Maybe they get some damage onto this left-hand Guardian, because they've lost 2 of their own now in the mid lane and the right lane.
Not able to even the skills a little bit in middle. Can drop onto Lord M on the Paradox. Stormcloud, meanwhile, can be dropped by Leffa, where I still expect Leffa to play this as a little bit more of a passive set in the beginning, farm up and have more of an impact as we head into the mid game. But just seeing a little bit of poke right now onto Mo, the easiest target to go on and chase. But you look at the map here, Jason, and after a few Guardians go down, a lot of rotations and map movement, particularly in this case coming out of Lil Troops.
Yeah, they kind of need to respawn, and they also need to protect their own jungle here, taking back to their match earlier on up against melee creeps. And, you know, like looking at, or, you know, thinking back to our first graveyard shift, which you guys can actually check out after the show's done, if you're a Twitch sub, a YouTube member, or a Patreon pledger. We talked to AVG, and he didn't want to tell us the full details about how their roles work within the teams, because not all teams understand how these roles work necessarily, or like what they're supposed to be doing. But I kind of like to see Leffa play the DMB role we saw with that, like the old day Hydra Nation, where he just kind of farms and pushes objectives. Because I don't think they need him in fights. I think they can allow him to continue to farm, fight with the rest of the squad, and then he's going to come in more farm than anyone on Little Troops can possibly be, just knowing Leffa as a player, but also Seven, and how quick he can farm this jungle.
Big steal, by the way. Going in to Hydra Nation territory, taking the double vault, double gamba, as it were. And Little Troops is still ready to fight. I mean, they have 3 members here ready to drop in. And I think maybe they were hoping to take the fight, you know, inside the double gamba room, but instead buffs come up. Ability gonna be grabbed by Stride. And rotation off over here into middle. Mato gets caught out at the beginning, has to blow the Shadow Transformation to stay up and alive. Abram's gonna slam on down. Hydration, though, looking to chill things out. Frozen Shelter gonna be used.
He's under the stairs.
Up and over, but the lasso happens. Lomain's getting abducted as this goes on. Mato already done. Wait, he's stuck. Jason, he's just actually totally stuck.
So he seismic slammed into the Frozen Shelter, and I guess he got under the stairs there. I don't know if that would have saved Mott anyways. A little bit unfortunate that happened for Stride. I mean, we're still in closed alpha, so it's understandable for them to happen. And Hydra Nation are going back in the attack now, looking for that left-hand Guardian, the final Guardian of the game to take for them. Unlock that first flex slot. Also, the urn is up as well. So this could be a major shift in souls here for Hydra Nation if they can confirm all these.
If I'm out here by myself, I need to stay on.
I think overall, when you compare this game state here versus last game, much more positive for Little Troops, even though this upcoming urn could be a bit of a problem. Keeping it even at 10 minutes, far better than, you know, being down 8k in the last game. Self-evident, but again, it's going to turn into a bit of a skirmish here in the middle. G-Freak caught out. Not quite going to be the engage they were looking for, and with a little bit of disruption, now you see that Kelvin's just going to grab the urn and going to go for the quick run for it, Jason.
I mean, he's not there healing, which he could be doing to assist the rest of his team. I guess they feel confident to fight without him. Lord and M should be falling, though, in a second. And AVG is going to be here to support the urn turn-in, but we can see Stride's going to be here. The charge is going to come through and not connect. And the back was here to defend against us. Even if Perry comes in of AVG to make sure they can secure this turn-in, they will get it just like that. Continue to grow their lead, and they should be able to pick up this kill. And Stride is going to look to escape, but he doesn't have any backup coming. Actually, there's a last stand there.
Not only no backup, I mean, able to trigger the shocking reanimation. And again, Frozen Shelter coming on out. It feels like the Frozen Shelter has been super impactful across the game, and just, yeah, the other side's healing, and you're not able to do much damage. Stride just falling within the icy clutches of Hydration.
Oh, that slowing hex, so frustrating to deal with. Another kill comes through. That's going to be 2 on the tally. And you can already see that Flaws is immediately forced to go back to base. A third kill comes through on the Mott, and they're just continuing their reign. 5,000 souls in the lead, and they should be able to get a walker. Or at least well, I mean, if they wanted to, they could rotate into the last Guardian, because Leffa is still continuing to be aggressive on this left-hand side, trying to keep things consistent as Little Troops. They put Poshy Pop there to combat it and to keep that one player farming up to be able to go head-to-head against Leffa later.
This rotation coming in from Hydra Nation right now, 3-on-1. If you're Poshy Pop, you should feel you are in danger because you are Carbine. Swap. It's fall through going to be enough, and Poshy they have just been able to blink and get out of danger. So even with the swap, the real prize perhaps just looking at the Guardian play instead. Switching gears here onto Mott, Zhao Transformation, Flying Strike, taking down into Hydration's territory. No Frozen Shelter was available, but instead decides, you know what, I'm just going to take a step back, look for O'Kane instead.
Oh, is the EVG still alive here with a combo? Gets stunned up, gets around the corner. 2 kills. This is a good turnaround for Lil Troops. They still lost the last Guardian that they had on the left-hand side, but they still pick up 2 kills for themselves. To be honest, they're not really behind that many souls. I mean, they're down of a difference of 2 Guardians, which is easily make up that 3,000 souls they're currently behind. The problem is those Guardians are still relatively healthy. They're not really grouping for themselves to capitalize on these.
Well, also the other problem is, not that you'd see this from Yamato, who has plenty of slots open, but as you start getting into the 15-minute range and beyond, some of your heroes are going to feel constrained with only 8 item slots. So it becomes a bigger problem as time goes on if you haven't unlocked those slots, even beyond the latent untapped souls that you're leaving on the map.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I mean, that's also a point for Hydra Nation to reinforce these lanes, because if you keep those denied, you're forcing Little Troops to make these really difficult decisions of what items to pick up and what items to sell. Or you're being forced to build into like the tier 3, tier 4 items that you didn't want to go as early as you're being forced to. It's a really difficult like economy game you have to play when you're behind like this. And Lord and M, is he right behind? Oh, I guess he teleported out and got away.
Now, speaking of items, when we look at Yamato, it's kind of interesting how Express Shot is still one of the items that Yamato will favor, but hold the phone on that. Playmaker versus Playmaker. Lasso in on to Paradox. We'll see if Paradox is able to get out. Charges the Carbine on the other end, still being chased down by G-Freak. And Lord NM just going down. However, the backup that came over. So that's going to be enough to at least make it painful. G-Freak goes down in turn. Both sides down their Playmaker. As Ricane just tornadoes over. Deals with Mott. Flaws, though, says it's time to change the world. Last stand over in. Trying to melt down Hydration, who overall doesn't really feel like the world has changed much, nor his health bar, as we see Mo coming in towards the very end. Lil Troops still filtering in players, but the combo turns into a quick retreat. Rhino, super low, can't get away from the winds of Rocane.
Great use of Tornado, too, to escape the stun. They do confirm the 2 kills. Lepa is actually comboed out of his Storm Cloud, but this Walker is going to be taking a lot of damage here and ideally should be falling, but it looks like maybe Hydra Nation want to actually go for the next earn turn in here to take this 8K lead to maybe a bit higher lengths. Yeah, why did like Roki? Oh, he went back to go buy. I was actually curious like what they were doing here, but the iron will be picked up for Hydration. Is going to move it across the map and maybe force a fight. I mean, you look at Little Troop side, what big ultimates do they have for a team fight? And I mean, they have nothing up, so there's really nothing they can use. They're going to have Seismic Slam up in time, but you really need that last stand to fight around it to have a chance now against Hydra Nation.
Another swap, another kill. AVG being part of that. The Victor starting to get large here, Jason. 16K for the Victor, 18K for Leffa, where we haven't really talked too much about Leffa for some of these fights, and there's a good reason for that. Leffa has been doing his job on 7, which is don't go to every fight, absorb the jungle, become the jungle, come out and win the game. Just how you play 7 nowadays.
I mean, he's been left alone in the left lane for the most part, going head against Poshy Pop, and then moved into the right-hand lane just to continue to solo farm up. But we do see the response after the fight on the right-hand side with no push in towards the Walker and the urn being secured. Little Troops being very smart about this. Yet it ended up getting themselves a second flex slot where we previously harassed them on not having a single one. But will they get back in time to defend the left-hand lane? Flaws is going to fall with no last stand being used, and that Walker will fall in turn. Question is as well, will we see a potential rejuve take soon for Hydra Nation to force out a team fight, especially having that 20-second window? But it looks like they're going to commit to this and just back away and farm up the jungle once again.
You know, in recent times, I think Hydra Nation is a team that is usually going to be a little bit more conservative on that. But Lord NM swap out in the lines then to extend. A lot of blue all around and a lasso, but gets saved by the guardrail. Wait, not saved, not saved. Brody under the map. And back. It's not a death. You just get worked back up. So overall, actually beneficial for Lord NM. That could have been worse. As Lord NM just wondering, what just happened to my game? What happened to my life?
I'm pretty sure he was just like, help me.
That's good. Gentlemen, I wanted to ask, last game was 22 minutes and 12 seconds long. Now that we're approaching 18 minutes, how are we looking?
Impossible to beat it quicker. I'm sorry. If they have to go towards the toilet for that Taco Bell, you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer. I don't think this game's gonna be over within the next couple of minutes here.
Oh, the knife. Do you go for that bag? That's a question. Like, you know the bag's there, but you're stuck here off near the urn turn-in. Knives out from Shiv, and Abrams just hitting you in the back, one after the other. Someone please find a parry. Chase down over the stride. Lower HP taken down.
So interesting, actually, that we see low main playing like a spirit build with the blades, the traded blades, instead of going for the execute resets, which kind of hinders their team fight potential. Just confirm kill after kill after kill. But honestly, they're not really struggling whatsoever with kill after kill, considering they just took down 4 for themselves and are going to be heading directly towards this rejuve with a 20k lead. I don't think we're going to hit the 22k or the 22-minute mark here, Puckett, but with the way it's going, it might not be much longer than that.
2 down is enough for Hydra Nation to say it is go time on the mid boss. And also, you think about mid boss ults. Flaws could roll in with the last stand, but other than that, they don't have a ton of control.
He's 14K
especially with
though,
Seismic
CP.
Slam not up.
He's so far behind. I mean, he's not really a true warden. Reduced to the rejuve, being taken Stormcloud on top of this. AVG gets 1, and Hydra Nation will confirm all 3 credits and a kill on top of this with Flaws and G Feet going down. I mean, we talk about like income allocation, we talk about like the economy game, and we have to talk about the fact that Flaws he's not being given the souls right now to be competitive, and I feel like they need too many heroes to be competitive right now to match up against Hydra Nation.
I mean, look, it's a more accurate last stand at that point. It is the last stand, the last thing you do before you are summarily executed and put back to spawn. It's not very impactful, but also dropping the last stand there too and low odds, it also just hurts because you're not going to have it up now for the next minute while Hydra Nation is kind of just doing whatever they want on top of having the Rejuvenator. It's a bit tough. I don't really love the decision for Lil Troops to try and make something happen there in mid-boss. The game is close enough that they still have some options, albeit getting slimmer by the moment.
They definitely had a tough comeback in the first match against Melee Creeps, being down over 20k. And they dragged the game out long enough for them to actually just overpower. But that was a composition-based, like, change up. As long as they could force team fights, they could win. Right now, you cannot really force team fights against Hydra Nation because your carry of Flaws isn't fed to that point. Mott as well isn't that strong. I mean, Pashu Pop is your saving grace at 23,000 souls.
Hey.
What's up?
What's going on, Rokane? You don't like stats? You don't. We just had -4 moment.
He doesn't want the handicap of saying, yeah, I won because I got more golden statue buffs. He's like, I did without him. He earned that 1k.
That is our most requested improvement. If we could figure it out production-wise or get some help on a dev end, golden statue counter would be awesome.
I think we have it for post-match stats.
I think so, but we don't have it in
technology
real time.
for that. Yeah.
Like, we may be able to figure it out. But you know, it may not be able to be figured out. The defense of Lil Troops Walker here. 2 Rejuvenators still on deck.
They don't have a wave. Like, it's back at their own side of the map, but they don't seem to care.
Shadow transformation fading, and that's a strong Shiv right there. That's a Shiv that looks at you, hits killing blow, and you wonder if their HP ever moved. And I gotta tell you, Jason, I'm not sure it did.
Let's go blue.
Not at all. I mean, low main, 23,000 souls. Like, Lef is also just completely sprinted ahead of everyone at 29,000, able to get a 3k lead up against his counterpart, Apache Pop. This mid lane Walker is going to fall. There's really no defense he can pull off here, and that'll be the 3rd and final one taken. Another flex slot opened up for Hydra Nation. With Roke respawning back in, I think there's definitely a chance they're going to push for these base guardians on top of this. Like, last stands up, but it's a 16k warden. You're going to ignore it for the most part.
Options have gotten very, very limited here for Lil Troops. You know, in a moment, you'll get another Spirit Lasso up. Maybe pull someone in the fountain, but you need quite a bit more. Rokane may be down, but, you know, Shiv, look at the point of wondering, do I dive in the fountain? Can I survive? The answer actually to that is no. Under pressure, forced back, but while you're focusing the Shiv, you're just getting pummeled by Hydration Lord at the same time. Stride, trying to go in a Seismic Slam, make something happen, and the HP is just melting, Jason. Very difficult for anyone Lil Troops to even stick their head out of the fountain.
Yeah, as soon as he slammed on down, he ran right back to his home of the base. You can see as well Mott being forced to go back, and Hydra Nation, I mean, they're just trying to bait them out. That's going to be the combo coming through, trying to go for the kill on AVG, but he's going to have his ultimate up, so he'll respawn back in just a few seconds time. But Rokane has gone down another time. No trauma to get back into the fight this time. And Poshpop's trying to do the best he can. He does not have Mercurial Magnum, hasn't been able to actually get towards that point, but Toxic Bullets can be helping quite a bit against the tankiness of Hydra Nation. But that's the first shrine going down. Leffa will fall. Maybe they'll get the second shrine. This might be a turning point for Lil Troops to catch back up, as they're starting to confirm some kills.
They're getting a few kills, but Hydra Nation may just be staying here for the patron. Nah, maybe not. Probably a bad idea if they did. Here on the chase down is Poshpop. Look to grab a little bit extra. Low main, getting whittled down the half HP. His team dead all around him. This is the point where if you're able to catch him, you could take him out. But you look at the mini map, you just see the full retreat from Hydra Nation. Getting both shrines and a good amount of patron HP. A good enough prize, especially when you're still up 30,000 souls on the whole.
I got a question. We talked about, you know, who would we cosplay? I think we decided like me, Lash, you would be Abrams. Puckett, can you cosplay the patron?
I got a big head. Look at that.
You know, I appreciate
like
the big. He had to think about that, which is also, you know, proof of big head. You take your time to consider that level of decision.
Considering all actions that can happen from that.
That totally is my personality, 100%. Think it through.
I'm hoping that, you know, you can get the whole metal suit around you too. I mean, you basically look like what's his name from Quantum Mania?
Just tinfoil.
Morad? I can't. The guy who rides the.
You're talking about
MODOK. Yeah,
MODOK.
you're basically MODOK. A MODOK mod for the patron would
Yes.
that would slap.
I would rock that so fast.
Well, we've gone a little bit deep into the lore, a little bit wondering what Puckett would look like as the patron Puckett, as it were. But the one thing we're not wondering about right now, Jason, is the state of the game where Hydra Nation is vastly far ahead, and Lil Troops, realistically, I feel like when G-Freak has Lasso on cooldown, they don't have a lot of options to get things going here. And if they get an early pick, they're not even guaranteed to win 5-on-6 with the level of lead Hydra Nation has, and the fact that low main just looks terrifying. We've also barely talked about AVG, who has also just been doing his own training montage.
Yeah, he hasn't really been doing too much, to be honest. There's nothing really to say about the Victor at the moment. Maybe we'll see some different things when it comes to the post-match stat graphics. That's going to be the Frozen Shelter being used to lock in players from Little Troops to confirm them into kills. G-Freak's already able to go down. AVG as well chimes in with the kill onto Stride. We're tagging along with Mott, who's just being forced to back away for the most part. A couple of power slashes going through, but the damage really isn't being done. And there's still too many targets to actually chip away out on Hydra Nation's side for them to win out on this fight. And Mott, he's losing his own players. It's up to him and Poshpop. And Poshpop might be at 33,000 souls, but I don't know if you can defend against 4 players pushing straight at you.
You've heard about the Warden last stand, but how about the Amato last stand with just getting quick meleeed all around, watching teammates fall one after the other, and you know, Yamato right clicks that just looked like they were tickling rather than really doing damage. I mean, yeah, you get 2 kills by the time it's all said and done, and look at the min-max here. You send half your team to mid-boss to get it with ease, and then you go, Rokane, you're not invited. Go there, get the patron down, and make it so we can go in and get second stage patron with the rejuve. And actually, as I say that, he's leaving. Letting the creeps do the job, in fact.
I don't think they're going to finish it.
No, they didn't.
I think they're looking for one fight. So if they wipe Little Troops before the patron goes down, there's like no chance they're going to respawn back in time with taking the patron. But you could have taken the patron, then they would have had definitely no chance. I don't know. Not sure the decision being made there. Maybe it's just a safety thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a world where where Kane could have stayed, but also you're this far ahead. You got mid boss anyways. You could just head back over. You got plenty of ways to play it, and Hydra Nation opting for safety here. And now, Jason, I kind of wonder, does Lil Troops even contest this urn? Based on where they're positioned, there's a chance.
I think it's too late now to contest it. I don't think you have everyone in the right position. I mean, the thing is, you'd want to contest outside your base for sure, not necessarily inside the base. And we do see the fight breaking out. And you can see Hydration just doesn't seem to carry. He's going to sit in the back line to confirm the urn turn. And now it's just a full-on push out of Hydra Nation. Mott, Shadow Transformation to a shadowy death. as the push continues to come through. And there's nothing stopping Hydra Nation for closing this out for another $1,000 to pick up even more Taco Bell next week.
Well, ideally not. I think the bathroom breaks, we might have to make a new rule.
We're getting them a bidet, boys. I've decided.
Into the pit we go, or into the fountain. Shiv going down, but guess what? He didn't hear no bell. Gonna get back up one more time. Is Lomain in the fountain, and now he's dead for real. He's absolutely dead. And from the Wraith side, Pop trying to do anything to defend here. You got one down here from Hydra Nation. You got a Wraith trying to keep the team in the game, but the Patron is just getting crunched. Hydra Nation, your champions once more here on Deadlock Night Shift.
You know what? With that extra $1,000 on their side now, maybe they can upgrade from Taco Bell to Del Taco and get the good stuff there. But another solid victory for them and another week added to their tally of just dominating here in the Deadlock Night Shift.
Regardless of where you like your tacos from, this is Night Shift, a sponsorable event. Intel knows. You like Intel. Sponsor Night Shift. Congratulations to Hydra Nation, North American champions, getting it done here for this coast. Z-Pizzle, it looked like a team diff. Was it a comp diff?
It's hard to really make judgments in the comp when realistically in both maps today, there was just a pretty big gap in mechanical skill. Yeah, you had a few areas where Lil Troops looked promising. Mott had a few times, but overall, it's just difficult to deny the mastery that Hydra Nation has, both in raw mechanical play and the macro decisions that they make, to where it just quickly adds up to where by the time you get to 15 minutes in, the game state is one where Lil Troops is more likely to pray their way to victory than to, get through on just smart mechanical plays from that point forward.
I asked you about this character. Shiv seems to be pretty good, especially when you got the Icy Boy alongside of him. Kelvin on hydration rather, on Kelvin popping off. We were talking about MVP nominees. Were you able to narrow it down to, let's say, half of the team? Which three were the most exciting for you to watch tonight, Kaplan?
Definitely not AVG. Get that crap out of here. No, his victory, this didn't really do anything because it didn't need to. I think him, Rokane, and I think maybe Lomain were like the three that didn't really stand out. So I think Left, the Lord, and Hydration were the three that I was eyeing of who really kind of made these games go the way of Hydra Nation. Lord and has some really good swaps in the first game, able to open up the page play of Hydration. And then also just seeing Hydration play basically full in support. I think you have to give him credit because he's been definitely the most flexible player in Hydra Nation in every iteration of it. But his support play, like on the Kelvin, the Frozen Shelters is popping down, and the support he's giving to Lomain in particular to allow them to take this lane and to snowball it further was definitely a thing of beauty. There's
a lot of Mo, a lot of deaths tonight. Lil Troops not finding any success against NA's best squad. This was a highlight for everybody, though.
Sorry, I had to throw it out there again.
It gets better every time. ZP, what are you going to remember from this matchup? Was it forgettable? Was it meaningful? We didn't see any cool characters. We didn't see a whole lot of excitement. Hydra Nation just here to collect their paycheck.
I think Hydra Nation, there's been a lot said behind the scenes about them really going out of their way to, enhance their scrim schedule, just buckle down and become the best team in Deadlock and start it from right now with, a schedule that many people think is over the top. But I have to say, it's hard to argue with the results we've been seeing from Hydra Nation. I think they've really been playing better than ever. And look, we talked about it a little bit. If I had to give an MVP, I'd probably give it the Hydration. Thought the Kelvin play was absolutely great. I think the Frozen Shelters were on point, and at some areas in this game where Lil Troops maybe could have found a little bit of hope, it just felt like they all got frozen out in dramatic fashion by Hydration just being at the right place in the right time. So got to give it up for Hydration and his versatility.
Kill's a little bit closer, but it's still nearly a 2-to-1 difference as Hydra Nation and Hydration take care of business. Lil Troops, welcome to a grand final. What we say goodbye. Who earns your MVP tonight? Jason Kaplan, you said it should be this guy. You like the Icy Boy?
Yeah, again, like I was saying before, he had some really good Frozen Shelters. He's been so flexible in what he needs to play for the team. And in particular, like looking at his page play, he made it kind of work. It's the first win I think we've seen at a page in the Deadlock Night Shift so far. And as ZP said, like the timing on his Frozen Shelters were also fantastic to like keep players out and to keep his teammates in, to keep him healthy. On top of that, he even went for a quick silver reload on his build too with Fleetfoot for some extra damage on the side.
Yeah, and
ZP, as we take a look at some of the best moments, walk me through some of these big plays. And are you still doing build videos?
I am. Well, we haven't gotten the videos yet. The videos are coming soon, but I found a way to streamline the process. So later tonight, going to be going through the winning builds from EU and NA and just throwing them up. All you have to do, go in game, search for Deadlock Night Shift, and you'll get builds that have been competitively tested because they won with them in the highest level of play. Definitely good stuff there for a multitude of different heroes. Just added up some Warden and 7 builds.
We have to add a disclaimer. Just because these builds won in the Deadlock Night Shift does not mean you at home can also win in the Deadlock Night Shift.
They're definitely going to work in your
on your own individual
100%.
Yeah. Look, you want to be the best, emulate the best, and ignore the fact that you may be lacking entirely in the mechanical skill that it worked. Just, keep doing it until it works.
Big thank you to everyone who came out. I see some people exiting the chat now. Reminder, we will have an interview and, of course, the graveyard shift coming up at the end of the show. If you are a subscriber over on Twitch, a member over on YouTube, or a Patreon, you're welcome to join us for some bonus content with Lord and M from our winning team, Hydra Nation, as they pocket another $1,000. Z-Pizzle, the MVP, hydration once again. I feel like this is something we're getting used to, as it is now 4 straight wins for Hydra Nation. Their only drop map was in week 2 to this team you just saw, Lil Troops. Is Lil Troops still evolving? Is this the final roster, you think?
I mean, they're evolving, but I think they got checked tonight worse than they did in any of the other matchups they've had against Hydra Nation. I think Hydra Nation came to play today. PKP, maybe not the best read on things, but more than anything else, it felt like the early laning was never quite so brutal against Lil Troops as it was today. So it's hard to say how much of that was an off night for Lil Troops and how much of that was Hydra Nation kicking it up another notch. I like to be optimistic and say I think Hydra Nation just played incredibly well today, and I do think their scrim and practice time and their ethos towards the game, it's paying off.
Boom. Love it. We showed you the MVP. We showed you the match stats. Are we doing an interview with an NA player? Are we saving it for the graveyard shift as Mitch the Savior comes in with a Twitch sub before the show ends? Or what, Solomon?
We got the update from Solomon. We are going to save the interview. Yeah. Hydra Nation, they won. They don't have much to say, but we do have Lord NM on the graveyard shift. They'll have a lot to say, where we're not just going to talk about the day or general Deadlock stuff. We're going to talk about Lord NM being a bit of a journeyman for a while before finally settling a Hydra Nation, what that journey was like, and, just getting a backstory into the person behind the player, as it were. And it's always a good time on the graveyard shift.
Absolutely. We got to give a big shout out to all of the subs. This was the first night of subs. We are up over 443 after Quirky Orcs and Mitch the Savior come in. You can use your Prime as well. So before you leave the channel, hit that little crown, put it to use. Epic Looted, welcome to the team. Night Shift is coming at you every single week. And reminder, we're also coming at you on the weekend. Jason Kaplan, if you're a Counter-Strike fan, you're going to want to tune in for this one because Project Night Shift has an invitational with Intel and Asus, Republic of Gamers. Tell me about it.
Yeah, it's going to be great to see. We got 4 EU teams all going head-to-head to get their chunk of the $10,000 prize pool, not to mention a show match on top on the weekend, which is a special little treat with some TF2 shenanigans in it. So if you're a TF2 fan, which you all are out there, you make sure to tune into this one as we have DDK, Bardoff, and if I'm not mistaken, your boy Anders joining the mic here. So that's going to be an exciting event to watch. Not to mention there's some goodies you can win too for watching.
And of course, we have Rivals around the corner as we will make our return to Marvel Rivals. Z-Pizzle will be on the mic. Are you excited for this one, ZP?
It's going to be fun. Rivals has changed a bit since we've personally covered it. Obviously, you had a huge mid-season tournament take place where the defending champions, back to Team 1, no longer with Rad, will be there tomorrow in Rivals Night Shift. The best team in the world for Marvel Rivals, and of course, some old favorites in NA. Only one thing to note there is that 100 Thieves had something come up. They won't be there tomorrow, but we got a special replacement coming on in, and the rest of it, names you know, and it's gonna be a good time. Of course, sponsored by Intel and MSI.
Sign me up, baby. I will be locked in, and of course, that is coming at you tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern here in the States. If you're over on the Pacific side, that's about 1 o'clock, right after you wake up and brush your teeth, you scumbags. Get in here, watch some more action. That'll be over on our Rivals channel. Yeah? All right, we'll give you more info. In the meantime, we've got to get to the end of the show because the graveyard shift is coming up. Another $1,000 goes to Hydra Nation. For those watching on YouTube, Jason Kaplan, and don't have a membership, final thoughts here on shift number 4.
From Paige to Emma Frost, sign me up.
It's the thickness, baby. Z-Pizzle.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time. We haven't been there for a while, and look, Natural's gonna be exciting, and I think we might be bringing the jazz with us. A change of music there too. So you like the tunes, you like the gameplay, you know where to catch us.
For real though, it's been a blast working with the Deadlock community. To see you guys dropping 400 plus subs on the opening night of having a sub button is amazing. For our YouTube viewership, we're now averaging over 1,000, near 2,000 at one point in tonight's show. Every single week, the numbers go up. The community is supporting it, which means we will be back. For now, though, we're ending this show, Graveyard Shift, with Lord NM from Hydra Nation. Coming up after this. Stay tuned.